each thing will be defined in this chapter with a little more data and and the things which we have already we have discussed the things that forecasting methods and are there. So we have to describe the models on the demand is based. What is introduction? The demand varies so we say the dynamic time frame. In this unit we will understand the inventory models in the dynamic environment of the demand. Means demand varies in a very rare in a static way, it varies in a dynamic way. So we choose the inventory models under the dynamic environment of the demand. After studying this unit, we should able to know that understand the deterministic and probabilistic nature of demand. Describe the inventory modeling and the dynamic environment of dynamic fluctuation. Explain the inventory model using probability. Means demand having the maybe deterministic or probabilistic. Means deterministic means we should know the certain demand. Suppose some 10 numbers is requirement, 10 number item is required, 100 number of items is available after a month. In a month, what are the nature of demand is there. So we know the deterministic. Probabilistic means it is probability is there that 89%, 90% probability is there that this much of demand will be there. And in the probability also having a more probability is there, this much of demand may be happen or may not be happen. So accordingly we have to choose the inventory model and its dynamic environment, and again to have to classify this demand into a static and dynamic way. Means the inventory we have to choose the inventory model by the static demand. The demand is fixed, and then if a demand is varying, forecasting method is varying, then it will coming to the dynamic environment of the demand, and we have to explain that inventory model using probability. Demand pattern, as already stated, demand can be either a static or dynamic. We have already discussed that what is static and what is dynamic. In fact, the demand of some commodities may retain nearly same or found with variation and incremental change in certain occasions, while for most occasions the demand of a commodity may fluctuate either uniformly or seasonally and down to the trolley non-uniformly. Therefore, the material manager needs to understand the demand pattern while modeling the inventory optimization. Means the demand vary from the time to time. It is static demand, we know that the static demand is there, but if you have a dynamic demand, means according to season variations and according to your season variations, according to time it varies, then it is a dynamic nature of demand is there. So accordingly we have to assess the things and conclude the things so that we understand the demand pattern and modeling for the inventory optimization. The demand pattern of a commodity may be either deterministic and probabilistic. Deterministic case, it assumes that quantity needed over subsequent period of time are known with the certainty. Means deterministic means for a time horizon we should know the demand, but it should have a certainty. Means this much of demand is fixed. That is a deterministic demand. And rather than to assume the probability, that is a dynamic demand or probabilistic demand. So deterministic demand, quantity needed over subsequent period of time or time horizons are known with certainty. This may be expressed over the equal period of time in terms of the known constant depends in the nature of the variable demands. The two cases refer to a static and dynamic demand respectively. Static and dynamic demands means if the in winter, suppose, and I am putting an example to you what is the dynamic demand will be there. So if in winter everybody, every hosiery company is producing the sweaters or like that coats and different types of thing putting in market for the sale. So they don't know what temperature is vary. If temperature is sometime vary January much more, the requirement is against suit up to the maximum. So this way it is a dynamic environment is there. We should know that the future. We should know the future or environment term. Accordingly we forecast it and accordingly to match the dynamic demand. Probabilistic demand occurs when requirement of a certain period of time are not known. Means we don't know that after 1 year what will be demand is there. It may vary with the seasonal variations or social variations will be there, social political financial provisions, financial variation will be there. So this demand will be described by a known probability distribution. There are so many probability theory of probability distributions, by the beta distribution and normal distribution, by which we can which process is suit to the demand forecasting, we can adopt that way. In this case, probability distribution is said to be either stationary or non-stationary over time. These terms are equivalent to static and dynamic demands in a deterministic case. Also, they may be in deterministic case, there is static and dynamic demands in deterministic case. Means we have some period we have a static demand, but after that the demand will vary, then it is a dynamic pattern. So in deterministic case also there is a static and dynamic demands will be there. Inventory under demand fluctuations means what inventory we have to retain for the raw material, for the semi finished product and for the finished product, as per the demand fluctuation is there. So what inventory need to store, or what model we have to choose. So we know the inventory is a part and parcel of every facet of business life. Means inventory either in a hospital or a store or a factory or any business house, or it require inventory to run the business. Without it, no business activity can be performed, whether it is being a service organization like hospital, bank, manufacturing, trading, and factories, heavy factories, steel factory, coal mines, where in everywhere we have to retain the inventory. Inventory is the part and parcel of the every facet of business life. Irrespective of the specific organizational setting, inventory are reflected by the way of conversion process of inputs and outputs. So definitely we are taking the inventory for the input of the raw material and taking it out of the finished product. So that finished product is also in inventory. There is a material conversion process is there. Material conversion process is that we have to input, and there is a system is there, production system is there, by which we can have a output, and by which we can have output, and there is a feedback from the output to the input before the conversion process, so that we can note that where is the error is there. If any error is there, that should be modified. The inventories plays an essential perceived role in any organization because they make it possible. Means why this inventory is essential? Because to run the business, inventories are essential, and its role is a passive role or active role is there in organization, because they make the business possible. The second point, that to get the right amount of stock, exact time of need, to ensure the continuous smooth production, to avoid physical impossibility and economic impracticability of the getting right amount of stock, exact time of need, to avoid the physical impossibility and economic impracticability of getting the right amount of stock at the exact time of need. This is the theoretical part, to say that to get the right amount of stock, exact time of need is continuous smooth production. But there is a physical constraint and economical constraint is also there, to get the right amount of stock at the exact time of period. Nowadays, so many companies, modern companies like automobile manufacturer like Maruti and others, that they can have a exact amount of stock in the site and the assembly line what they need. But they try to do that, to order the large quantity of goods, materials or components from the supplies to advantageous purposes. Means order a large quantity of goods, material and components from the suppliers at advantageous places, to provide reasonable customer service through supplying most of the requirement from the stock without delay. Means we know the demand, and we know the static demand or dynamic variation is there. So we have a reasonable customer service should be there, so that customer should not be bothered for the any problem is coming that way. So we can fully supply the requirement from the stock without delay. To maintain more stable operating workforce level, to take advantage of shipping economics, to plan overall operation strategy through decoupling of successive stages, chain of acquiring goods, preparation of goods, shipping of branch warehouse, and finally serving the customer, to facilitate economic production runs, to facilitate intermediate production of the several products on the same facility, to provide solution in case of hedging against the future price and delivery uncertainty, to make the effective use of available capital and storage space, to achieve the favorable return of investment. Means what we are doing the business and what we have been maintaining the inventory, that a lot of constraint and traits is there, that we have to plan overall strategy through decoupling of successive. It means in the production method we can have a after the production is the suppose 6 channel or 7 channels there. After second channels we have taken the product because other channel is jammed. So we are after 2 channel we are collecting the product, and this is a semi-finished product which we used later on the from the channel 3 to channel 10. So this way we can have a decoupling by decoupling we can chart out the operational strategy to facilitate economic production run. Means the production which we are doing, that will be economical and reasonable that way, so that the cost is reasonable, so that we can have earn some profit on that one by sales, to facilitate intermittent production of several products of same facility. And actually though what we are have a capital, working capital, because a lot of working capital involved in the inventory, so their utilizations to achieve the favorable return on the investment. Dynamic demand models. The dynamic fluctuation depend on several factors such as geographic, cultural, demographic, types of market and so forth. Mostly decisions under such situations are made intuitively or by hit and the trial, and some methods are discussed earlier under. Dynamic modeling is there. Suppose the demand fluctuation is in dynamic mode. Suppose suppose we have a woolen cloths, we have to plan for the some summer place, like some other state like UP or something else with a hot state is there. But in the hilly side they always feeling the cold, so the demand of the throughout the area, long area, is dynamically varies. So if in plain of December there will be a lot of demands for the woolen cloths in UP also, and the same way on the hilly areas like Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand also. So the company must to have assess the things, that which season the seasonal variation is there, accordingly demand fluctuation will be there. So we are cautious to have take the shock of demand fluctuation and market it. Mostly decisions under such situation are made intuitive and by hit and trial, but we try to do the mathematically modeling so that we can have a fair forecasting thing is there. A manufacturing concern and the fixed weekly cycle demand in units. Suppose Monday we have a 9 units is there, Tuesday 1, Wednesday 7, Thursday 2, Friday 0, Saturday 19 and Sunday 14. Policy is to maintain the constant daily production several weeks ago. Shortage cost is 4 rupees per unit per day, and storage cost depend on the size of the quantity. What quantity? The order quantity. Q means the order quantity. So the order quantity you already discussed in the economic order quantity. We have to have different parameters, that ordering cost per order, carrying cost per order, annual demand requirement, price of item, Q order quantity per order. Accordingly we have to choose the annual order cost, annual carrying cost, and annual purchase cost, annual total cost. We have to measure that way. Furthermore, in this way, so the charges are based on the end of the situations, that these cost per unit done for one day, that quantity should not be less than 1 and less than 3. A quantity should not be less than 1 and less than 3, and quantity should be less than 20 and more than 4, and the quantity should be less than 20. The charges are based on the end of the day situation. Determine the optimum starting stock level. Let the manufacturing rate be the average of the total sales, which required 9 plus 17 plus 2 plus 0 plus 9 plus 9 plus 14 throughout the week. It is 7 days. So week has 7 days, then we have to divide it by 7. So we have a 10 units per day. We find more total weekly cost per tabulation for variation starting stocks, tables 1 to 3 for the starting stocks units. So we can have a see that what are the stocks available. So this way we can have a manufacturing rate, the average of the total sales, which is coming 10 units per day. Later we'll see what will happen this way. So this is a dynamic inventory model prescribed the rule method. The dynamic modeling, that will be the from the month towards the from January to the December. We have a demand of 130, 88, 52, 124, 10, 62, 12, 154, 129, 160, 238, 41, 1200. The total is coming 1200. Now we will see that what will happen this way. Ordering cost is rupees 54. Carrying charge per unit per month is 2% of the end of each cost. I think we should aware of this one, the annual order cost, how we determine the annual ordering cost. Annual order cost is there. There is a D by Q, means total demand per year divided by order quantity per order. Means the total number annual order cost is equal to total demand per year divided by the order quantity per order. Order quantity per order. So this will come with the annual order and multiplied by C0, that is annual cost is there. So the ordering cost for a unit part is 54 and carrying charges per unit per month 2% at the end of each month, means 2% of the total inventory. Carrying charge per unit per month is the 2% at the end of the each month, means unit cost is rupees 20. This is 2% of the total inventory. Supply is instantaneous, means regular supply is there. Then there is no lead time, no stock periods. Only full month requirement is order. The solution is tabular method used for finding the total cost of the policy of ordering quarterly. By this you can also have a choose the formula. By the you can choose the formula by you can have an annual order cost, annual carrying cost, and annual purchase cost, annual total cost also is there. So the next point is that with the dynamic inventory modeling we have to that the average monthly demand, if we do by average one that way, the 100 units per month, means total 1200 divided by 12 months, it is 100 units per month. Now what is the economic order quantity? Economic order quantity is that under root the ordering cost into carrying cost, ordering cost into carrying cost into the demand. The demand is the 100 units per order and the C0 is ordering cost, 54 is the your carrying cost. So the your 2 into 54 into 100 divided by CC carrying cost. Carrying cost is the 2% of the total inventory, means 0.02 into 20. So it is coming to 164 approx. So how the economic order quantity is calculated in the dynamic modeling? You see that one. The dynamic modeling, the economic order quantity is under root 2 ordering cost into demand divided by the carrying cost. This is already explained in the previous suppose in a 5 to 6 for units of that I already explained that way. So this is the mathematical funda by we calculating the actual demand is there, actual quantity in demand is there. So the economic order quantity is 164. Since we are seeing the chart that full month requirement to be ordered 160 lies between 130 and but the 164 is closer than 130 because the minimum demand maximum demand is 218 in some month. So we will see that 164 is average is economic order quantity is closer to 130. So you order the 1 month requirement at the beginning of January. So we can order the economic order quantity to be ordered at the beginning of January. So thank you.